Hello everyone, very warm welcome to the channel. We are talking about your twin flame journey as always. And today I want to talk a little bit about doing the inner work, right? About like connecting to our feelings, what we are feeling. And that's something that is so important. And there are like, we go deeper and deeper with that, right? So it doesn't matter where you begin, it doesn't matter where you are right now, that's all good, right? We can connect to ourselves wherever we are, and we can start from there and then learn and then dive deeper and move from there and fill our toolbox with tools that are fit to do the inner work and so on and so forth, right? It's your journey. I'm here to help you and to share a little bit about how I am going about things and about how things unfolded for me, and so supporting you in this way, right? So what is it? So on one hand, we are feeling a lot. So that's my experience, and I think that's the same for you, that when you begin the journey and even a little bit further down the road, it's very common that first of all we cannot really give our feelings a label. We do not really know what is the, am I sad, am I depressed, am I whatever, right? So what is it called? So that's because there are a lot of different feelings mixed into one cocktail, so to speak, right? So that's one thing that we have to sort out. And that's, of course, where all the things, we find all the things that need to be released, because those feelings are connected to certain issues, sometimes, very often this lifetime, very often childhood, sometimes past lives, sometimes also ancestral patterns, ancestral beliefs. And the other thing is that we are not used to feeling like good, uplifting things, and that we sometimes have a hard time to stick to those, although they are in our experience, although they are there, we sometimes we do not even recognize this as a good feeling or a supportive feeling, because sometimes there are energies that are supporting us, but if you are not used to receiving support, then this would feel off a little bit and you would not recognize it and nurture it. Yeah, so that's another thing. Yeah, so I want to give you an example of such an overwhelming feeling. So for example, for me, that this was disappointment. So I could even put a label on the feeling, right? That was already huge progress for me. I could say, oh, how do I feel right now? What is that feeling? I feel disappointed in a way. And then when I had a closer look, it turned out to be a cocktail of a variety of different feelings that I had to address. I had to address each one of them and release each one of them from my system, right? From my nervous system, because that's really where it is. And that's also something that is interesting. We have a variety of ways to release energy. It happens sometimes more subtle than others, depending on the issues. But just to give you some examples, it could be by yawning, it could be by coughing, it could be by crying, but not really very long, just the releasing of the energy, right? Not diving into a sad story or something, but just releasing the energy. And it's also that our body makes small movements sometimes. Yeah, it's like sometimes it's maybe shaking, sometimes it's like turning like this, And we should like give our body like the opportunity to release in that way as well. Yeah, so you would just, and in the beginning it could also be like nothing. So I didn't feel anything, right? I just started to release stuff and to work with certain tools, and I didn't feel much. And then it started basically with yawning. So yawning for me was always the confirmation that the energy was released. And of course, I'm also always checking in with this little pendulum, right? So I found out about the cocktail of those various feelings with my pendulum and my charts. So why is that so good? I tell you about the feelings in a minute. Why is that so good? Because the question and the answer are on different frequencies, right? So when you are there asking something, then you can, from this place, you cannot receive the answer. You are the question, right? So, and to split yourself in question and answer, it's basically like a trick, right? And so if you learn how to detach really and to let just the energy move through you, then you can have the answer. Of course, you can also open up to the answer intuitively. Yeah, that's not that's possible, right? And maybe that's possible for you, then that's fine. But I would recommend, so this is always for me like I know how to deal with that, and I don't cheat with that, right? I know when the answer is right and when it isn't. But you have to learn. I also have to learn how to work with a pendulum, and I'm certainly like providing a course or something, or it will be basically always part of what I'm teaching, because that's the basics, right? So, and maybe you are used to working with a pendulum, then that's fantastic, right? So let me tell you about what I found out about my feeling of being disappointed. So it was made up out of the following feelings. Each I had to deal separately with: low self-esteem, rejection, overwhelm, humiliation, failure, anger, and despair. Not one of them was disappointment, although I felt disappointed, right? But just it was really a variety of things that I could have never pinpointed without my little pendulum here, right? And so it makes things a lot easier because it's precise, and when you pinpoint it, when you find the issue, then you can release it quickly, right? It's easy then. Basically, the work is to find the issue and to see where it is, right? Where is it? Is it on the ancestral level? Is it a childhood issue, or maybe later in life, right? So there are a lot of things that can be in the way. Not all of them are relevant for your journey, but most of them really, because if you want to go to higher vibration, then that's required. And very often there are other players in our lives that are helping us to release like dense energy. So pay attention to this. Who could this be in your life? Some twins, they have the experience of a false twin flame. So false twin flame would then always be someone who is like triggering you, whereas a true twin flame would rather step back and leave you alone, and then another player would come into your life, and same for your twin, right? The other way around, because there is a time then on the journey when you step back and leave your twin to his or her experiences with a karmic. Yeah, we often also say that this is a karmic person. This karmic person is like a match to all of those shadow aspects that want to come to the surface, to be looked at and to be released. It's good to look at those things in this technical way, because they can be quite challenging, and the emotions that they trigger, and sometimes it's intense fear, sometimes it's, very much has to do with fear at the base. But of course, as I showed you, it's always a variety of different flavors of fear. But when we say that we have to decide whether we choose love or fear, then that's basically what it means, right? Do we choose the light or the dark? So, and when we go up in vibration, then we become lighter, right? Brighter. And so we shine a light on all those dark things that we could basically, in the past we lived with those things. We were maybe not feeling too good about it, but it was not an issue, was not a problem. But once you go up in vibration, those things become so big, right? And they present themselves to you for a reason, to release them once and for all. And that's what I do. So the things that we address, those issues, those specific flavors, once we release them, they are gone. So there are other things where we have to, like dense energies from our environment or accords with other people. So those things we have to tend to over a longer period of time, and they would usually only go away when we really shift with our vibration then. So that's something that is rebuilt. Those cords, they are rebuilt. But those issues from the past, those things, we can release them once and for all if we know where we have to go and where we have to look. And we have the tools. So I very much hope that this was helpful. You can find my office in the description box. There is a link. If you have any questions, write them in the comments, or don't hesitate to reach out via email. I wish you a really beautiful day as always, and I see you in the next video. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.